This is Co-op Chronicles, episode 79. Welcome back to Co-op Chronicles. This is episode 79. I am pint-sized Geisha, and as always, I have Blacklabel.
Hello.
Why are you laughing?
You sound like crap. Go ahead,
I
continue.
sound like crap, thank you. And Azzilee.
Hello.
And today's episode is...
We're going to talk about Jennifer Pham.
Jennifer Pham. I feel like
You probably heard, or I'm not saying it right. I think it's Pan. Jennifer Pan. Sorry.
I feel like I've watched the Netflix documentary about this, what Jennifer did.
What Jennifer did?
Yeah.
So you'll know.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Jennifer Pan, Azzilee?
I had the wrong freaking mic. No one
It's
told
probably
me.
because Tiana was messing with it. So
You gotta put like a marker. I have like a bracelet on mine.
What was it called? Oh, what?
Jennifer Pan.
Jennifer Pan.
I have no idea.
Never heard of her?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I've heard of her.
Well, she's the daughter, the perfect daughter, who planned the perfect lie, supposedly. But yeah, how's everybody going? Or doing? Yeah.
Apparently, I sound like shit.
I was just joking. I didn't mean it like a diss. You could tell you're sick though.
Oh no.
Yeah. But okay. Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay.
Everybody's tired. So, imagine this. Okay, it's late at night. In the quiet suburbs of Ontario, a daughter is tied to a banister. Okay, she's screaming for help. Her parents have been attacked in what looks like a violent, chaotic home invasion. There's gunshots, there's footsteps, and a frantic 911 call. And when police arrive, they find a scene so intense, so emotional, so shocking that no one, not even trained investigators, could have guessed the truth hiding underneath it all.
Mm-hmm.
So because the perfect daughter's standing there crying, she wasn't a victim, right? She was the architect of the whole thing.
You just gave it away.
Yeah, I know.
Just bam.
Yep. So,
Pull the plug.
this is Jennifer Pan case, or this is the Jennifer Pan case, okay? A story, what?
Sounded like you said Jennifer Pancakes.
That-
Pancakes.
I thought you
Oh.
said pancakes too.
Pan case. Okay.
Pancakes.
A story that feels like a thriller, a mystery, and a psychological tragedy all rolled into one. A story about pressure, lies, control, and depression or desperation. The moment that things twisted into something unthinkable. Everyone believed Jennifer was the star child, smart, responsible, grateful, the kid every parent dreamed about. But behind closed doors, a completely different story was unfolding. Quietly, slowly, dangerously, one night, everything snapped. So let's get back to that night, okay? Police rush into the Pan family home after the terrifying 911 call. Jennifer, who says intruders broke in, tied her up, and shot her parents. Her mother was found dead. Her father is barely alive. And Jennifer, the only unharmed witness, is shaking, crying, telling officers everything she saw. At first, it seemed believable, even sympathetic. But there's this moment, and this is where I guess the tension of the whole case kind of begins, is where detectives, they look at Jennifer and they notice that something's not clicking. Her story seems extremely rehearsed, like she knew what she was going to say from the get-go. She was very controlled when she talked about it, and she was very calm. Like, I don't know how to explain it. She was calm in all the wrong places and very dramatic during certain explanations. So, Geisha, have you ever watched a story or seen somebody tell a story and it just didn't seem right, the emotions from the delivery and everything?
Yes, all the time.
Yeah,
And
all the
murder
time.
mysteries. I call it out. Like,
Yeah.
no, you lying son of a monkey.
I know who you are.
I know what you did.
Yeah.
And then I turn out to be right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what makes it eerie. There's no forced entry, nothing stolen, nothing seems random. It looks like a home invasion, but it doesn't feel like a home invasion. Investigators start making mental notes and pointing out red flags, inconsistencies of everything. But at this point, Jennifer is still the grieving daughter, the lone survivor, and the center of sympathy. Azzilee, doesn't it make you a little more comfortable or uncomfortable when someone seems a little too composed during something like this in the fact that she's the only one alive? You know,
It's just suspicious.
right? Very suspicious.
Suspicious.
I'm always suspicious when there's like one person left alive, even
Yeah.
though they were in the vicinity,
Mm-hmm.
like in the house, in the warehouse, whatever. It's like, why were you left
Yeah,
alive?
what makes you different? What makes you special?
Like, were you in on it, or are you just like super lucky? you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what if it was like a final girl situation where they're like all beat up and half dead, and they're like, I fought for it to be the final girl.
Even
Which
more
is-
suspicious.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because like, why didn't they finish you off? First of
Mhm.
all,
Mm.
especially if
she's
you're,
not hurt.
especially
No, I'm saying she is hurt. I'm saying, well,
If she was,
Jennifer's not
you know?
hurt, but I'm
Yeah.
saying if she was hurt and she was like beat up and stuff, type of situation.
I mean, maybe.
would that make it more suspicious?
for
I think-
me, yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on the situation, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if you looked like you fought really hard and there's evidence,
Like your nails are ripping off and
yeah,
stuff.
like
yeah.
you're beat up,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and then I'll be like, okay, kind of more believable. But if you're
Mhm.
like black eye or just one like little
Teeny
injury,
Like,
you know?
oh, I
Maybe.
got shot one
Yeah.
time right here.
yeah, nothing else. I'm like,
Nothing else,
I
yeah.
can't
Mm.
believe it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It reminds me of that one case of the Lululemon murder. I don't know if you guys heard about that one.
Mm-mm.
It was like a coworker was stealing stuff, and the manager found out, and the manager like was about to call the supervisor or whatever,
Mhm.
and let her know like, hey, this person was stealing, and that person who was stealing ended up killing the manager that snitched on her. It made it look like they were robbed and they're tied up inside of the
Oh,
closet
gotcha.
and stuff. Yeah, but they didn't buy her shit either, obviously, because CCTV
Yeah,
and
aren't there
stuff.
cameras?
There's
everywhere?
cameras in the mall, so it's like,
so
yeah.
stupid.
okay, so this is where the story begins, okay? With a crime scene that made no sense, a daughter who didn't react the way anybody expected, and a case that slowly unraveled into one of the most shocking betrayals in Canadian history. Because the truth about what happened that night would take investigators into her past, Jennifer's past. Past full of lies, fabrications, accomplishments, fake report cards, hidden relationships, and a double life that had been boiling for years, okay? So this isn't just the home invasion, okay? It goes back. There was a plan.
Mhm.
So when it comes to you guys' first reaction to hearing, like, I guess the basics of this case, obviously you guys said you feel like something's not right. She's not the victim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did it just feel off right away when I explained it to you guys? Were you guys just like,
She was
yeah,
tied up on a
banister?
banister.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Only one
Like-
survived.
With her arms behind her or in front?
This.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
You
Yeah.
can easily tie
Yeah.
yourself up and then just
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would? Okay, first of all, if someone was gonna like tie you to a banister, that's not how they would tie you. They would
Mhm.
tie you with your hands behind your back
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the bar between like your back
like
and your hands.
bottom,
Yeah.
not over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like you can get a lot of momentum with your arms above your head. Like you
Mhm.
just have to pull up.
Yeah.
You can stand.
Yeah.
Stupid. What a stupid girl.
Yeah, what
Like,
a stupid
like
girl. Yeah. So the perfect daughter who wasn't. Okay, before investigators or detectives could understand what happened that night, they had to understand who Jennifer Pan was. Because on the surface, she looked like every parent's dream. I was about to break down into an Eminem song. Disciplined, polite, hardworking, accomplished, a daughter with straight A's, a future in medicine, and a clean, quiet life. But behind that perfect image was a secret world built on lies. And every lie was a crack forming in something already breaking. So Jennifer, she was born into a household defined by discipline and high expectations. Her parents, I want to say it's like Bic or Bitch, B-I-C-H, Bic, I don't know, and Hui Han Pan. They were both immigrants who worked tirelessly to build a better life for their children. They believed deeply in hard work, academic excellence, structure values they passed down to Jennifer with almost a military intensity. So it was kind of rough for her.
Yeah. All Asian
Yeah.
households, I think, have so
So-
much expectations on children.
Mm-hmm. She
Rough.
took piano lessons. She
Yeah.
trained in figure skating. She studied constantly. Her life was planned out for her piece by piece. On paper, it looked like a success story, but emotionally, obviously, she felt cornered. She wanted freedom. She wanted more choice. She wanted to be able to breathe her own air. And that's where the first cracks appeared from teenage, or not from teenage rebellion, but from something darker. Jennifer realized that she could lie. And once she knew like how to work lies, she never stopped lying.
Mm-hmm.
So as early as middle school, Jennifer started forging report cards. She would white out grades, rewrite numbers, alter teacher comments, and anything to keep her parents believing that she was a star student they wanted. Yeah, at first it was small. You know, she would turn a B into an A, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She basically made a comment more soft, not as a warning, you know. She removed like all just bad comments, basically.
Mm-hmm.
But over time, the lies escalated into a full alternate reality. She lived inside. Alternate.
Alternate.
Geisha, let me pull you in real quick, okay?
Okay.
Have you ever met someone who lies so much that the lies become their comfort zone? And that's exactly what built, or the world Jennifer built for herself. A world where everything her parent expected was technically true, but not really. Yeah?
Yes, I have.
Yes, you
I'm
have.
not gonna name names, but this was in high school, and this girl like lied so much.
Yeah?
It like ruined friendships.
Oh, my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna name names, but
But you have.
you know who you are.
You know who you are.
Like to the point where like she was lying to one of my other friends that I would love to be this other person's friend, and we were really close in high school, but then I graduated and we kind of like fell off. She texts me from time to time and I reach out to her from time to time, but she never texts me back. But anyways, she was my really good friend, and then like this other girl who lied a lot was lying to my really good friend and to her like mom, and it was just like a disaster. It was just crazy.
So,
Yeah. Anyways,
crazy story.
crazy story.
Lies just ruin things, you know? Okay. So, again, these weren't just academic lies that Jennifer was talking about. So, when Jennifer didn't make the Olympic level skating team, she told her parents she was still training with elite coaches. When she failed high school calculus, she forged transcripts that show, hey, I graduated on time. When she didn't get into a university, she obviously created and invented an acceptance letter and pretended she was attending college classes for an entire year without her parents knowing. Crazy. Azzilee, imagine pulling that off, okay? You're faking college for a year, parking on campus, walking around the buildings, timing your days so it matches everything, class schedule. You just basically find out how to do it, okay? Could you imagine that? I feel like that's a lot of work.
I would be so tired.
Yeah, like you have to.
I already don't have a lot of time in the day.
So you're waking up to go to school on time, but you're not even going to school. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could do so much more with your time instead of just
Like actually
faking it.
trying to get into college. Yeah.
What a weird. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Family pressure, but I just don't get it.
It's a little crazy.
Yeah. There comes a point in time though where I mean I get it, family pressure, but at the same time it's like shouldn't you just be like, look, yo, I failed and I'm sorry. What's the worst thing your parents can do?
Disown you, kick you out,
and then you
Yeah.
gotta find a job and do all this stuff. Like just go find a job.
You'll have more freedom that
I can
way.
only imagine she grew up in an Asian household where she didn't have
Any freedom.
She didn't have any freedom, and she didn't have to get a job. So
Yeah.
all of that is like foreign territory to her, probably.
So maybe like she wanted to stay home and not have a job and live this cushy life and lie. But at the
Possibly.
same time, it's like if you want freedom, then just tell the truth, and then you'll probably get kicked out, and you can go to work, and then you
Yeah.
have the money and the freedom to do whatever you want.
Yep. So with that said,
I don't know.
detectives later said though that they've never seen someone maintain deception at this scale. So here's the thing though, okay? Every lie brought her parents more pride, okay? So obviously when she lies, her parents are more happier. And
Yeah.
it brought Jennifer more fear because the deeper she went and the more impossible it became to ever tell the truth, her life became a tightrope, like balancing the expectations of her strict parents and the reality of who she really was. So she's already deep in all these lies. And underneath all of that, a growing resentment, a pressure building, and a sense of total entrapment with her parents. So she wasn't just living a lie, she became somebody who shaped her whole life by the lies. And when the truth threatened to collapse everything, she didn't step back, she escalated all this. So we're going to get into like where the double life began, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So while her parents believed Jennifer was growing into a disciplined, focused young woman they raised, something entirely different was happening when it came to what they weren't looking at. Because behind the honor roll illusions and the carefully staged accomplishments, Jennifer had built a second life, one fueled by secrecy, rebellion, and a kind of freedom she had never felt at home. And that that second life would become the spark that eventually set everything on fire. So in high school, she met this guy named Daniel Wong, okay? Charismatic, laid-back type with a totally different upbringing. He wasn't chasing medical school. He wasn't weighed down by parents' expectations. He partied, he smoked, he lived casually. He was just a teenager. And Jennifer, it was everything she couldn't do, everything she wanted to do, but she wasn't allowed to be. Once she stepped into that world, though, she didn't want to step out. So to keep it alive, she had to hide more, lie more, distance herself more. The double life got more deeper, a life her parents had no clue existed. So Jennifer's relationship with Daniel became the heart of her secret world. They text constantly, met in parking lots, hung out with friends her parents would never approve of. They shared a sense of rebellion, hers quietly internal, his loud and obvious. To her parents, Jennifer was studying. To her friends, Jennifer was living. She was just living her life. So she was basically two different people. Neither version could exist in the same room. So, Geisha,
Yeah.
let me ask you.
Okay.
Have you ever known somebody who acted like a totally different person depending on who they were around? That's exactly what Jennifer was doing here. Have you? Obviously, you have, right? That's why I keep asking these questions.
I feel like I have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about this person that you were referring to? Were they a different person?
I can't remember.
Oh,
I just remember that she lied a lot.
I know
I feel like yes.
one of your best friends lied to her mom about skipping, and you got in trouble for it, right?
Oh, yeah. Fucking Crystal.
Crystal.
Fucking Crystal.
So, as time went on, Daniel became more than just a boyfriend. Okay, he was an escape, the antidote to everything Jennifer felt suffocated by. But here's where the things started getting twisted. Okay, Daniel didn't just give Jennifer attention; he introduced her to the circle of people involved in drug dealing, petty crime,
Oh, no.
and very risky behavior.
Oh, wait. Him, the boyfriend.
Yes,
Because he was a drug dealer.
he introduced her to
It's
these
always
worlds.
because of a boy.
Feel like he was a
she was
drug dealer.
doing all this stuff before him. He just made it worse.
Gotcha.
Okay, so nothing super massive, okay?
Okay.
But enough to blur the lines between rebellious and dangerous, okay? Like Jennifer began lying about her whereabouts, her activities, her schedule, her entire routine. Her parents believed she was spending the night studying at a friend's house, but in reality, she was with Daniel, partying, breaking rules, experimenting with freedom she had never had before. And that double life grew more complicated. When her parents finally started noticing inconsistencies, these lies were they were getting harder to maintain. So the pressure obviously was tightening on her. Her secret world was basically crumbling, and her parents, they were moving closer to the conclusion of what's going on. And Jennifer felt trapped between the life she wanted and the life she was pretending to live. And eventually something had to give. I didn't mean to rhyme right there, but it is what it is. Azzilee, if you were in her shoes back then, though, just feeling suffocated at home, but you were free with somebody else, do you think you would get pulled into that world the same way?
If I was in her shoes?
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't relate.
You're a good
so
person.
it's-
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a really good kid. So
Yeah.
the thought of disappointing my parents is like really devastating to
Yeah.
me.
Okay. Beb,
Yeah.
do you feel that Jennifer's relationship with Daniel felt like freedom to her, or do you think it was another illusion she was kind of like building upon and clinging to?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think it gave her insight into a life that she really wanted,
Yeah.
even though she knew she couldn't really be a part of it
Yeah.
because of all that built up lie already.
I mean,
She's like, I can't have it, but I want it, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for it.
and I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. My brain is not firing all synapses right now.
I mean, kudos to her though, because
Yeah.
it takes a really dedicated person to just consistently lie to people all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Because
just
how do you
crazy.
keep stories
That's
straight?
a lot of energy.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't
too
keep
much
stories
work.
straight, and like
Yeah.
I worked with somebody who did that. Like everything they said to me, I always felt was a lie because it was
Mhm.
so extravagant, and I'm like, there's no way
Mm-hmm.
every aspect of your life is this insane. I was
Mhm.
like, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
So like, how do you keep it straight? Why do
Yeah.
you lie?
Uh-huh.
I
What do
know.
you do when you
Lie.
catch somebody in a lie? Because I have a coworker.
Oh my God.
Well, she's not a coworker, but she's a potentially new coworker. She might be coming to my job site,
Mhm.
and I swear to God, she's like, "Oh, I live in Port Orchard," but then she told somebody else, she's like, "Oh, I live in Kent." I'm like, "Girl, you just told me you live in fucking Port Orchard. What are you talking about? You live in Kent?"
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Maybe
I
You
get,
asked them a clarifying question.
yeah,
I would have been like, "Bitch, you just said you live in Port Orchard."
I can't.
I'm confused.
I've had a few people. I could only think of one person that I really get irritated with, and I called him out on his bullshit, but I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like over stupid stuff too. It was like golfing, and I'd get so pissed because he would just lie like, "Yeah, I ended up shooting a birdie," and I'm like, "Bro, I literally watched you hit like 6 balls."
And that's not a bug.
And that's not a birdie. It's just stupid lies that just kept escalating, and it would happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He knows who he is. I don't know if you listen to this, but you know who you are.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Because I always bring it up every
All the
time I golf
time.
with the other boys. I'm
you
like,
lying
Yeah,
sack of potatoes.
but it's just like you don't have to lie.
Don't
We're
lie.
not we're not in PGA. We're not amazing.
We're just here
and
having
he
fun.
and he has a good swing. He plays pretty well. So it's like, why are
Yeah.
you lying? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Anyways,
continuing. Jennifer's parents, especially her father Han, was extremely strict, but they weren't stupid. They started noticing all these little cracks. Okay, where's the certificate? It's missing. You don't have a certificate. A teacher who didn't recognize her name. A schedule that didn't line up, and growing emotional distance. And then came the moment that blew her entire academic lie wide open. They discovered she wasn't actually attending the university she claimed that she was at. No acceptance letter. There was no tuition records and no enrollment. Her entire future, the one that she had fed them piece by piece, was fiction. Okay? So when her parents learned the truth, they didn't explode. They imploded. All the pride, all the trust, all the certainty they had poured into Jennifer collapsed in an instant. Her father's reaction was especially intense. Hanpan, I'm sorry, I'm butchering the name, began enforcing stricter rules, okay? There's no phone. You're not allowed to have the computer unless he supervised it. You're not allowed to see this Daniel Wong. There's no no social time anymore. There's no privacy.
privacy.
There's no escape. There's no escape. Jennifer went from living 2 parallel lives to being trapped in one she desperately wanted out of. Yeah, Geisha,
Yeah.
can you imagine that? All that freedom she tasted, even if it was built on lies, was just ripped away
Yeah.
within hours by her dad.
Yeah, but sometimes now I'm thinking, like, is it real? Like, I understand that she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and she did something very horrible. But at the same time, it's like sometimes parents, you need to just relax. You know what I mean? I'm not the perfect parent, but I've learned that sometimes you just got to pick and choose your battles.
You used to be
You know what?
more strict than me.
Yeah, I used to be super strict, but then I went through some stuff with my oldest, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever. Pick and choose my
I'm
battles.
still holding on to the strictness.
As long as you're not doing anything illegal or stuff like that, we're okay.
Yeah.
You fail a class, get that grade up.
Yep.
Yep.
But so
Whatever.
so things got a little bit worse for this, okay? Her parents separated her from Daniel completely. He was a bad influence. I mean, I would do the same thing.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to see this kid.
Yeah.
They took one part of her life that she really wanted, that was like the relief from her real life, and cut it off, okay? So to Jennifer, it wasn't discipline anymore. It was prison. She wanted to do stuff, that she wasn't able to do. She wasn't allowed to work. She wasn't allowed to go out. She wasn't allowed to choose anything. And Han monitored her like she was a child who didn't or couldn't be trusted. Okay, to him, she was like a bad kid. But to Jennifer, this wasn't a consequence. This wasn't punishment. It was control. A life sentence in her own home. And to me, I feel like, I don't know her age right here. Hold on. Let me double check.
I feel like she was young.
Like
16, 17-ish when this happened.
When everything happened, no, she was old. So
No.
I could understand where
this is college.
Yeah, so she was 24 at the time of the home invasion.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So she was an adult.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Go get a job.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point, it's like
Stop lying and go get. I thought she was like 18.
No, I knew she was like in her 20s. I didn't, but 24 is really, like, yeah, you could have just
You're
left.
almost.
You're an adult.
You're pushing 30.
Come on now. Azzilee, doesn't this, it feels like a breaking point at some point, right? Like once her parents locked her down and she's 24, you know what I mean? I don't know how old she was at the time. I know when she got caught for the home invasion, she was 24. So I don't know when she started breaking down, but like how do you, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, how do you handle that at that age?
I feel like, again, it's just because of their home. So she probably is like too scared to leave home, too afraid to be like abandoned and disowned by her family, just because of like Asian society. So she was probably just conditioned enough to where she wouldn't have just left, because like Americans are just gonna be like, yeah, I don't want to be part of this home anymore, I'm leaving. Bye.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Like deuces. But for them,
it's a little bit more hard.
it's
more difficult.
They're like more family centric, so it's less likely that she was gonna just leave.
Yeah.
Even though she was unhappy with living at home. So yeah, I think it's just really sad, because I know she probably somewhere in her heart she was like, I can just leave, I can do this, and then but her brain is just like so conditioned. She got Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, for real.
She's just like, I can't leave.
Yep.
Nothing's gonna be okay if I leave.
Yep. So this is the moment. Yeah, this is the moment when Jennifer's story crosses the line. Okay, most people could never imagine crossing. Up until now, everything she's done, the lies, the forged grades, the fake college life, it was all destructive, but it wasn't like irreversible. She couldn't, or I guess reversible. It wasn't reversible, or it still was reversible. Is that
it
the word?
It wasn't irreversible.
I said it right the first time? Thank you.
There you go.
Point for me. But when Jennifer began feeling trapped and cornered and stripped of all her freedom, she didn't look for a way out, okay? She didn't want to try to rebuild. She didn't accept the consequences of her own actions. Instead, she made a choice that turned her story from a tragedy of lies into a blueprint for murder, okay? Jennifer wanted her life back, the boyfriend, the freedom, the independence, and all the things she felt her parents were keeping her from. She convinced herself that the only way out was to remove an obstacle, the obstacle. And in her mind, what do you think that obstacle was, guys?
Her parents.
The parents.
Yep, it was her parents, okay? So this wasn't a snap decision. It wasn't like a slow drift into a darker thing she was thinking, a buildup of resentment, a fantasy she started to entertain little by little, until one day she shared this fantasy with someone who didn't tell her to stop. Someone who didn't pull her back. Do you know who that person was?
Her boyfriend.
It was her boyfriend, Daniel. Yep. So Jennifer confided into Daniel about how miserable she felt, how trapped she was, how hopeless her future seemed. And at first, it was just like venting, as kids do. Well, she's not a kid, she's a grown woman. But it was just venting about, what's going on. And then the conversation shifted, okay? They talked about her parents being the reason they couldn't be together, the reason why she couldn't work, the reason she couldn't choose her own life. And it's kind of sad to think about at that moment. But, eventually they talked about removing her parents completely. So what started as an emotional spiral became a plan with real steps and real people involved. Daniel, he knew people. He had friends, people who hung around the edges of criminal circles, okay? Not masterminds, not professionals, but people who would do things for money. So let me ask you, babe.
Yeah.
Does it feel like Jennifer was reaching for anyone to validate her darkest thoughts? Like, I feel like she was, I don't know.
I feel like she's over here complaining that she wants her freedom and the life that she wants. Like, you're 25, just get out.
Yeah, it's because the way I'm looking at it is like she's venting, but she's venting to a person who's just going to agree with whatever she said.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
They're feeding into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both delulu.
Because it says, like, she's vented to people, but then when she talks to him, he's like,
yeah, let's
I'm not gonna
murder everybody.
Yeah, I'm not going to challenge what you're thinking. I'm just going to agree with what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of that true friends, like, bitch, just get a job.
Yeah, go get a job.
Well,
get out.
He also probably was just like, because he was like a druggie, right?
Yeah, he was just
He'd probably a criminal, a hoodlum.
A hoodlum.
So he was probably into that stuff.
Yeah.
So here's the chilling part, guys. At one point, Jennifer actually asked Daniel for something else, okay? A way to disappear. She told him she wished someone could kill her so she could escape her life without hurting anyone. But then that changed and the target shifted. Jennifer began brainstorming with Daniel about hiring someone, not to kill her, but to kill her parents. Azzilee,
yes.
This is where the psychology gets wild, okay? Do you think Jennifer actually wanted them dead, or was she deep in fear, the lies, the desperation, that she convinced her way, obviously, that there's no other way out?
Yeah, she was probably 100% convinced that the only way for her to be free is for her parents to be dead.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you that was like her whole thought process.
Yeah.
Because it's like, even if you leave them, like you leave home and your family like doesn't talk to you anymore, there's still like that crippling feeling of just disappointing your family and them just like thinking you're worthless.
Yeah.
So she was probably just like over it.
Yeah.
She's like, this is the only way.
Yeah. I feel it's for the money.
Yeah.
She did it for the money because she didn't want to go to work.
Probably. So.
Maybe.
If she an only child.
I want to say, I would assume. You asked me these questions, but I don't even research that.
Been, right?
Yeah.
She had
It doesn't
so
mention,
much pressure.
Yeah, it doesn't mention like a sibling.
Yeah. So Jennifer would unlock the house. Okay, this is the plan. This is the hardened plan that they came up with. Okay, she would unlock the door to the house. Okay, the intruders would just come in. They would stage a robbery. Jennifer would be restrained but unharmed for some reason, and her parents would be killed. I mean, obviously that's the best plan. Obviously, she wouldn't inherit money and freedom, or she would. Sorry, she would inherit the money and freedom, and she and Daniel could just start a new life. You know,
much money?
It's obviously it reads like fiction, but Jennifer believed it, planned it, and set this in motion. Every choice from here on was deliberate, and the plan was about to become real. So once Jennifer crossed the mental line into planning her parents' murder, there was no hesitation, no pause, no attempt to back out. What began as quiet resentment and whispered fantasies turned into late-night phone calls, text messages, and meetings with people who were willing to turn a broken family into a payday. So the plan... Yeah, it wasn't just an idea no more, okay? It was a conspiracy, and Jennifer was the center of it.
You know how much money she was set to inherit?
How much?
$500,000.
That's not even that much.
That's not even a lot.
That's ridiculous.
That's what I was saying.
Isn't that crazy that nowadays $500,000
like,
is not considered
nothing.
a lot? But back in the early 2000s, you'd be like, oh my God, that's so life-changing.
Yeah. Like, I'm just saying. That's not even a lot of money. That probably would last just like 5 years.
Yeah.
Maybe like 7.
Yeah, I don't know. So where was I at? Okay.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah. So the first person Jennifer connected with was a man named Homeboy, Ricardo, one of Daniel's acquaintances who talked big about being able to handle things. Jennifer asked him for a price. He said $1,500. $1,500 is all it'll take to kill her parents. The number became the seed of the conspiracy, a price tag placed on 2 lives. Because Jennifer saw no other way out, she believed that this was, her escape of the cage that she was trapped in.
Mm-hmm.
And things didn't go exactly to plan, guys. Could you believe that?
Of course it doesn't.
No way.
Yeah.
I never saw that coming.
Yeah, so the first attempt fell apart. Communication slipped. People backed out. Details didn't line up. Jennifer didn't pay money. Nothing happened. And rather than seeing that as a sign to stop, a chance to reconsider, Jennifer started doubling down, okay? This is where a man named David Milvaganam, a small group of accomplices entered the picture, okay? These people who didn't really care about the Pan family, didn't fear consequences, and didn't think beyond the payday, okay? Jennifer coordinated with them through burner phones, text messages, and calls she believed were untraceable. She told them exactly what she needed or what they needed to know. When to come, how to get in, where her parents slept, where the money was, how to make it look like a robbery. Yeah, and here's the part that chills people even today. She rehearsed it, okay? She practiced tying her hands behind her back. Oh, I guess it wasn't like this. It was like that, but she practiced how to tie her hands behind her back so she could make it look real when the time came. Jennifer,
all that time studying how to tie your hands behind your back, you could have been in school, girl.
Yeah. Jennifer didn't see herself as part of the crime. She saw herself as the survivor, the victim, the one who would walk away with sympathy and freedom and money. Okay, she believed she could control all this, the timing, the story, the outcome. But one thing to think about is that you're involving criminals with different motives. Okay, different skill levels and different levels of impulse control. So usually when you want to plan something like this, it doesn't really go exactly the way you imagine it. And when the night finally came, the conspiracy turned into something far more violent and chaotic than Jennifer ever planned, okay? So, November 8th, 2010.
Okay.
A night that should have been ordinary. A night that should have ended with a family asleep in their home. Instead, it became the night Jennifer Pan's plan finally came to life. And everything spiraled far beyond what she believed she could control. Because once those men stepped into the Pan's household, the crime Jennifer thought she could choreograph turned into something far more violent, a lot more chaotic, and far more tragic than she ever really imagined, okay? So for weeks, Jennifer communicated with the hired intruders, told them times, gave them instructions, gave them the payment, her role, their role, and the plan was simple in her mind, obviously. She's the one that put this together. She would unlock the front door. They would come in, tie her up, kill her parents, stage a robbery, leave her alive as the traumatized witness, okay? That's what she imagined. It would be quick, controlled, and clean.
It was not.
Yep, but real violence is never really clean, okay? Real violence doesn't follow a script. So, shortly after 10 p.m., Jennifer went to the top of the stairs. She looked towards her sleeping parents' room and sent one final text to the attackers. The door is unlocked. Okay. That single message set everything in motion. Minutes later, 3 men approached the Pan's home. They walked into the house without force, exactly as Jennifer intended. One of them held the gun. Jennifer sat quietly upstairs, pretending to be unaware, listening as her parents woke up to intruders shouting, demanding money, forcing them into the living room. Han and Bick were terrified. They had no idea that their daughter was the reason these men were inside the house, okay? The intruder tied Jennifer to a railing upstairs, loosely, deliberately, so she could later claim she was restrained, Geisha.
Yeah.
You're in this hallway, right?
Uh-huh.
You hear your parents screaming,
Okay.
knowing this is something you helped create.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to comprehend, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What were you going to ask me?
I don't know. I'm just thinking, That's terrifying. How
That
could you?
is
How could
terrifying.
you do that?
I wouldn't do that.
No, you're her now. How could you do that? Thank you.
I can't. I don't know. I couldn't.
So
Do that.
downstairs, her parents were begging for their lives. They handed over whatever the intruders demanded. Wallets, cash, bank information, anything to survive.
Yeah.
But survival was never part of the plan, obviously.
Nope.
Jennifer's intruders escorted her mom and father to the basement. This wasn't the robbery that they intended. It was an execution. In the basement, the intruders shot both the parents multiple times. Her mother died instantly, but her father somehow survived, bleeding, unconscious, but alive. Jennifer waited for the gunshots, and when they came down, she dialed 911, crying, begging, playing the role she rehearsed. Police arrived to find exactly what Jennifer had planned. A tied-up daughter, a ransacked house, a dead mother, a critically injured father, and no forced entry. Except the reality didn't match Jennifer's script perfectly. Her father wasn't dead. He was fighting for his life, and he was about to become the biggest problem Jennifer's story could ever face. So, Geisha, could you imagine the level of disconnect someone has to be to just sit upstairs while they pretend to be a victim?
Yes. Cuckoo kachooey.
Chewy?
Kachooey.
Yeah.
Yes. That's crazy. That's insane. That's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Do you, Azzilee, do you think that Jennifer panicked at any point of the night, or do you think she believed everything was just going exactly as planned? I mean, like, you have to be a special type of
She
crazy.
was probably like
You do have to
slightly
be
panicking, because it's like, oh, they're about to kill my parents. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But then she was like, this is the only way.
This is.
Yeah. What if she was just like smiling? I'm like,
Oh, that would have been
I love the sound of this.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going through her head, but that's what would go through mine if I was in her place. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. That's
Hard
crazy.
to say.
But then you think there's got to be a ton of like cases like this where, like, what's the other one? The Munchausen by proxy one. Who's that? The little girl.
Gypsy Rose?
Gypsy Rose.
Yeah.
She was just in the next room listening to her mama,
That's true.
But hers is like a little crazy.
Yeah, hers is a little crazier. I admit.
But it's like almost the same thing, it seems like, except she's not being tortured like Gypsy Rose was.
Yeah.
So, again, the entire plan hinged on one assumption. Okay, both Jennifer's parents would be dead. No witnesses, no contradictions, no loose ends. But the moment that her dad opened his eyes at the hospital, bloodied, broken, barely alive, the whole story that Jennifer rehearsed started falling apart.
Oh, yeah, because the daddy lived.
Yeah, because he wasn't supposed to live, and he remembered more than Jennifer ever expected, okay? So when the first responders arrived at the Pan House, Jennifer played her part flawlessly. Give this girl an Oscar. Okay, she cried, she shook. Yeah, she begged for information. She kept repeating that, like, she doesn't know who would hurt her family. She doesn't know why they would target them. Her mother was pronounced dead at the scene. Her father rushed to the ER, with doctors unsure that he's gonna make it through the night. Jennifer believed that meant the plan had succeeded. Okay, she believed that in the morning, it's gonna be great.
It's going to be great.
But then he woke up, and the first thing he told detectives was
Jennifer.
I saw everything. Barely able to speak, Han explained that during the attack, he wasn't unconscious the way the intruders thought he was, okay? He saw Jennifer. He saw her standing freely, not tied up to the staircase like she told police, not struggling, not terrified. She was talking to one of them calmly, directly, as if she knew him, okay? He also made another damning observation that Jennifer didn't call out for help. She didn't scream once. She didn't ask the intruders to spare her parents. She just stood there watching. This testimony, even delivered softly through the pain that he was going through, immediately shifted Jennifer from obviously victim to the point or the person of interest.
Yeah.
And detectives began replaying the night in their own minds, okay? They started thinking like, okay, maybe there was no forced entry. Jennifer's calm demeanor, her inconsistent timeline, her surprisingly detailed memory of the attack, something most trauma victims don't ever remember. It all started pointing in one direction. Investigators visited the dad again in the morning. This time he was a lot more clear. He was able to talk. He was able to describe things. He was able to describe the intruders. Oh my God! Stop! You are picking on my
intruders.
Okay, he described the intruders dragging him and his wife to the basement. He described being shot. He described hearing Jennifer moving freely upstairs, and then he said the sentence that officially turned the investigation against her. He said Jennifer was not tied up. Her hands were free. And with that single statement, detectives saw the truth. Jennifer wasn't a survivor of the crime. She was the architect.
Yep.
Goodness. Stop picking on me.
Sorry.
Okay, how big of a turning point?
Turning point. How big was the turning point?
Turning point. See, it's not just me.
Okay, how big was the turning point? You guys think this was? Like, does this moment feel really big as the detectives start really noticing her story?
Because I wonder if they would be able to figure it out if the papa had died.
Yeah, I don't think so, right?
Like, would they have been able to piece the puzzle together?
They probably would have.
Would they have looked at her? They probably would have.
They had to have.
I mean, I think they probably would have
eventually,
but this was like, okay,
not so quickly.
I mean, I don't even know if they would have got it quickly at all, or even at all, if it wasn't for that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because there's like so much going on, and they probably don't have much to prove. I mean, they would probably eventually investigate into her, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like CSI would crack it. They'd be like, well, the first person that was only left there was Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching a lot of CSI.
Yeah. So, again, once the dad revealed what he saw, the detectives only had one job: to break her story. Not aggressively, not violently, but methodically. The way you peel back layers of a lie, only until the truth is left, like an onion, right? And Jennifer was not prepared for this, okay? For how skilled the interrogators actually are at spotting cracks in the story built on her illusion. Because if her lies were the house that she lived in for years, this interrogation was the earthquake that finally collapsed it. So up to this point, Jennifer had been treated as a traumatized survivor, interviewed very gently, handled with sympathy, as all survivors are, given the benefit of the doubt. But now the detectives brought her into a small room. They closed the door, turned on the recorder, and shifted into interrogation mode. Jennifer didn't realize it yet, but they already knew the story she told couldn't be true. And now they needed her to realize that as well. So, Detective Bill Goetz, a calm, patient, experienced interrogator, sat across from Miss Jennifer. And they began with some simple things, okay? Her timeline. Where was she? What she heard? What she saw? Within minutes, he noticed issues. Jennifer remembered so many details, like way too many details. Things that most trauma victims forget because the body shuts down. So she described the intruders' actions, like everything they did, just to match the physical evidence that was there.
Yeah.
She said she was tied tightly, but her hands showed no bruising, and she was able to use her phone because she was the one that called the police.
Yeah.
And the big one, she claimed she didn't recognize any voices, but her father said he saw her calmly speaking to one of the attackers. You seem like you're about to say something. Were you about to say something?
Who, Azzilee?
Why didn't she... Okay, so the two men are already in on it. Why didn't she just have them act out the whole thing properly? Like, break into the house, beat her up, tie her to the banister.
Yeah, why do you have to be talking to them?
Why did she practice tying her own ropes?
Yeah.
When people were in the house who could do it to her for her.
That's true.
That's so confusing. And then, you have to act the part. Regardless of whether somebody survives, you got to act the part out in case people hear, right? You should be, screaming for help. And then, I don't know. Yeah. I just think that's weird.
Yeah.
You have people who can do all this stuff for you.
She claimed she didn't recognize any of the voices, as I said.
Yeah.
And the detectives let her continue talking because every word she said pulled her deeper into her own contradictions. As the hours went on, the detective began using a classic psychological technique, the blame shift, okay? He made it seem like he believed Jennifer He believed that she might have been forced to do this, manipulated or pressured by someone else to do all this stuff, you know. But obviously it wasn't true. This was the point that he just wanted to make her feel safe. Like, okay, I believe you. And it worked, okay? Jennifer started admitting small deviations from her own original story, tiny adjustments, little corrections. Every time she changed one detail, the detective treated it like progress. And then the pivotal moment, he leaned in and said, Jennifer, you weren't tied up. We know that. Yep. She froze, okay? Her breathing changed. Her voice softened. She didn't confess, not yet, okay? Yeah. But something inside of her shifted like, oh, God. The confidence was cracking. The script fell apart. She knew that they weren't buying the story anymore. She knew they were closing in. Detectives told her that they had evidence, phone records, tower pings, eyewitness statements, things that made her lies impossible to maintain. Whether or not that evidence existed wasn't the point. The point was to make her feel pressured, and Jennifer was starting to break. Yeah. What do you guys think about police being able to lie to prove a point? How do you feel about that?
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I had something to say about something you said a while ago.
Okay, what was that?
You know how you said that like people, your body kind of like shuts down and doesn't remember all the details, which is true, right? Totally true in a trauma situation. But okay, is it weird that like for me, it was that day I went to the mall with you and Coda, and we were leaving the mall and we had a 4-way stop, right? I remember that I almost got into an accident, and I remember like I forced myself to remember all the details. I don't know why. Like I didn't get into an accident, but like I sometimes sit like at a 4-way or at like a 4-way light, and I try to remember all the details just in case I get into an accident.
Interesting.
Is that weird?
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I can tell you what happened, right? I was at the 4-way, and then there's a green Subaru in front of me, across from me, that's turning right.
Yeah.
And he was taking so long. It was an old man. He had white hair. He was wearing a hat, and he was taking forever. So he was turning. Black BMW comes from the right and starts, turning. He doesn't stop. He just starts turning, and I start going. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it just takes... I mean, that's good. Some people aren't like that, though. Some people aren't like...
I wonder if... I don't know. I'm just weird. Anyways, what was your question?
I forgot, but I'm going to continue on. Okay, so the detective, he leaned in, and he started talking to Jennifer about something she really cared about, more than anything.
Money.
Her image.
Oh.
Yeah, close, but no.
Close.
Her reputation, her identity as the good daughter, and her fear of disappointing people. He told her things like, I think you're a good person who got mixed up into something that you couldn't control. I think someone pushed you into doing this, and I don't think any of this was your idea. Obviously, none of that was true. He was just trying to make her feel safe to respond, and unsafe enough to feel the pressure. So then he brought out some cell phone data. Not the full logs to show her exactly what was going on, but enough to show her like, hey, you weren't as hidden as you thought you were.
Nope.
Okay. He showed her like she was texting during times she claimed her hands were tied. Her phones were connected to towers that contradicted her timeline, and messages were sent to the men involved in the night of the attack. So you're not that smart, okay?
Which she didn't get into college, so we already knew that.
Yeah.
Why don't people ever just use like walkie-talkies or something? I mean, like, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I
Go
mean,
back
that's
to
a
the
good
old
idea.
time.
Yeah, do like some fucking
Some Morse code.
Yeah, Morse code.
Over the walkie-talkie.
Something like that.
I feel like it's impossible to get away with a crime nowadays. There's just like cameras
too much
everywhere.
Wait, what year was this in?
2010.
So not even that far away.
Yeah.
Did you know that? I wonder if I told you guys this already. Did you know that your enhanced license has like it emits a frequency?
Yes, you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
We're just being watched all
Thanks.
the time.
Mhm.
Washington State doesn't have it yet, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, thanks
Other
for
states have it.
Yeah, thanks for reminding
They're
me.
watching us.
They're watching
And
us.
they're listening.
And they're listening.
If I talk about an ice box right now, an ice box would be full on my feed.
What is it? Are you talking about a fridge?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
In Hawaii, it's called an ice box.
Well, I call it a fridge, like
Ice
normal
box.
people.
Whatever.
Anyways, he showed her all this stuff. She was texting, doing all this messaging crap and all this stuff. And he's like, hey, this is a question he asked her during that made the whole thing shift. He's like, hey, Jennifer, why were you texting this shooter? Why were you talking to him? She froze, and Jennifer tried to spin it. She tried to soften it, okay? She tried to suggest that she might have been talking to the wrong people, or that she didn't know what they were planning. And she was just trying to let them know that she wasn't involved in this. But the detective didn't, let the pressure fall. He tightened it up just a little more, enough to make her feel cornered, but not attacked. He told her, it wasn't supposed to happen like this, was it? You didn't want anyone to get hurt, huh? You didn't think they would actually go through it, right? All these, make her feel like, okay, they don't think that she wanted to hurt them, Just like a little sympathy, a little disguise, And slowly, Jennifer's responses shifted, okay? She started admitting like tiny pieces of involvement, not confessions, just little cracks, letting them know like, yeah, I admit it that I've been talking to bad people. I admit that I was talking and I was just upset with my parents at the time. And then she admits that the plan was supposed to be a lot different than what it really what really happened, okay? Detective delivered the blow. He just shattered everything. He said, Jennifer, you do know that your father's alive, right? And he told us that you weren't tied up. Yep. Jennifer, her eyes fell, okay? Her shoulders collapsed. Her voice became barely audible. She was like, damn. She wasn't confessing, though. She was just breaking, Detectives knew, and the truth was coming. She was about to be like, hey, this is what it is. So, some confessions don't arrive in a single moment. They don't explode out of somebody in a dramatic breakdown, They just slowly slip out. Truths just come. They just come piece by piece.
Piece by piece.
Yep. Jennifer still wanted control. She still wanted to play the victim, and she still wanted to see as, she was the person that was being dragged into something that she wasn't fully understanding and fully aware of, okay? But she also knew that her dad was alive, and her story doesn't match the evidence, and the detectives weren't buying her act anymore. So she shifted into a new strategy. One investigators see all the time, okay? Not a blatant confession, but a partial truth designed to gain sympathy and minimize her role in this. Okay, she wanted to admit just enough to sound like she was being honest, but not like saying, hey, I'm the one that set this all up. Okay? Detective leaned in, softened his tone, almost like a counselor. He was like talking to her, not as an interrogator. He created a safe emotional space for her, and Jennifer stepped right into it. I didn't want them dead. I didn't want them killed, she said. I only wanted to stop them pressuring me. I wanted someone to threaten them, someone to scare them. Every sentence she was saying edged closer to responsibility while she was still trying to preserve her innocence, okay? As the conversation continued, Jennifer admitted she had been involved with the men who entered the home. She admitted she communicated with them. She admitted she unlocked the door, and she admitted that she coordinated the whole thing. But every time she got close to acknowledging the goal was murder, she backed away. She was like, it wasn't supposed to happen like this, okay? I thought they would rough them up a little bit. I thought it would be like a scare, let me have some freedom. The detectives knew the truth. The text messages, the calls, the financial arrangements, and all pointed to clear murder for hire plan, okay? She was this, I don't know. She wasn't smart, okay? But they just let her keep talking. They just knew she was going to say some more shit and just ruin it. And he's like talking to her more. He's like, Jennifer, why would you unlock the door for people you barely knew if you didn't expect them to hurt your parents? And she froze, okay? She was like, obviously, because that question is like, I don't know. Like, how do you explain this to people? Like, just to scare them, but you don't even know them. Her silence lasted long enough for the detective that he didn't need to hear her answer. And in that silence, the truth finally emerged between the lines. Jennifer, again, wasn't a victim or a bystander or manipulated. She had to be the planner, okay? Azzilee, doesn't this feel like she was trying to hold two realities at once? One where she wasn't a killer, and one where she orchestrated every moment of the attack.
I think she was just trying to act innocent.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she was trying to, live dual lives or...
Yeah, just trying to...
That she was just trying to maintain that innocence. Even though she was flailing about. She was just grasping at straws at this point. So, man.
Yep.
What an idiot.
What an
That's all
idiot.
I can say. There was plenty of movies, early 2000s, that are like murder movies that she could have watched and gotten ideas from, but then no, she was just an idiot.
Yep.
You didn't even orchestrate a good plan.
Yep. So this is where it starts coming down, okay? After the interrogation, detectives began piecing together the digital footprint she thought she had erased, okay? Phone records, tower pings, text logs, deleted messages, contact lists, cell tower tracking movements minute by minute. You know what doesn't lie? Technology.
Yeah.
The technology that shows all this stuff does not lie, okay? This wasn't a random home invasion, okay? It was planned. So police followed the phone numbers connected to Jennifer's calls and text messages belonging to people deep in Daniel Wong's social circle. One by one, names started being, names were emerged. Daniel Wong, Jennifer's boyfriend and emotional anchor, Lenford Crawford, a.k.a. Homeboy, the first person she approached who connected her to others, David Milva Ghanem, identified as one of the gunmen, and Eric Carty, another participant in the attack. So these weren't innocent bystanders or misunderstood teens. They were part of a network familiar with crime, willing to do violent things for money, and Jennifer was the one who hired them. So phone records showed that calls were made between Jennifer and the attackers the hour before the murder. A text saying the door's unlocked, coordination messages about timing, discussion of payment. Every digital breadcrumb pointed directly back to her. Detectives also noticed something chilling. During the night of the murder, Jennifer texts back and forth with the attackers while her parents were being terrorized downstairs. That erased any doubt that she was a passive participant. Once the evidence was compiled, detectives moved quickly. Within days, police arrested all these people. They arrested Jennifer, Daniel, Lenford, David, and later Eric Carty. The charges were severe. So it was first-degree murder, attempted murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and multiple counts of related criminal planning. Jennifer was taken into custody. She was calm, polite, soft-spoken, and her demeanor remained. But the investigators noted that she looked relieved, almost like the charade was over and I don't have to act like another person anymore. Her double life finally collapsed. And all was left was the truth she tried desperately to hide. Yes. Geisha, what stands out most to you about the evidence? Is it the phone records, the planning, or just the stupidity of thinking that you could delete it all?
Probably the stupidity that you can delete it all. Nothing's ever deleted. They can freaking read your text messages from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Don't ask me how, but just saying.
Yeah. So this trial took place in 2014, so 4 years after the attack. The tension in that courtroom, it felt like it had been building for a lifetime, okay? It wasn't just about proving guilt. It was about unraveling how seemingly a perfect daughter could plan the destruction of her own family. So it was just crazy. She sat quiet in that courtroom, no outbursts, no tears, just controlled, composed, presence. The media, they described her as very eerie and emotionally distant. She was just there, you know what I mean? She already knew it was over. She was guilty on all major charges. First-degree murder, attempted murder. She was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years. And in Canada, that is the harshest sentence legally allowed. So she got arrested. You know what I mean?
Good. She deserves it.
However, do you have where she is now?
Yeah, life after the verdict. So for most cases, the story ends with the verdict, guilty or not guilty, and the sentence was delivered, case closed. But in her case, the consequences didn't stop in the courtroom. They stretched far beyond prison walls into the future of Pan's family. So into the psychology of a woman who built her life on illusion. And the questions people still ask today is about how a perfect daughter can plan something unthinkable. The justice system handed down its sentence, but the emotional fallout, the part that never really ended. Okay, so Jennifer began serving her life sentence immediately. She was placed in a women's prison in Ontario, away from the world she once manipulated, stripped of the lives she once lived in, and with no escape, no fake transcripts, no forged accomplishments, no double life left to return back to. her accomplices received similar sentences, all of them locked away for roles they played in the murder of them and the attempted murder. But outside those prison walls, the Pan family life forever changed. The father's physically scarred and emotionally shattered, sold the family home, could no longer work, and lived the rest of his life estranged from his daughter he once believed in. And years after the trial, Jennifer continued living quietly in prison. No major incidents, no public outbursts, just the same polished behavior she displayed her whole life. But there's something that many people don't know, is that Jennifer did eventually appeal her sentence, not to take away her guilt, but to challenge the legal specifics on how her trial was conducted. So, not fighting the facts, not claiming innocence, just trying to tweak the outcome of a plan that cost her mother's life and nearly killed her dad. I believe the appeal didn't set her free, right?
It didn't set her free. However, in April of this year, she finally got approved for a new trial.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So she remains there, and all that stuff. The father lives with fear that once his daughter's released, that she still might be dangerous and come for him. And that fear is powerful enough to, he explicitly requested that she never be allowed to contact him again.
He does have a restraining order.
Yeah.
And she does have a brother.
Oh, she does have a brother?
Yeah.
Is it raining?
It is raining.
Oh, my word. Yeah, so that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this case? What's going on?
I personally think that it was a combination of a lot of things. Okay, if you have strict parents, of course, that is not an excuse to kill them. Please believe I'm not saying that. But I've been reading a little bit as you've been talking, and they were crazy.
The parents?
Yeah, like they made her, I guess she did have a job at one point. They made her quit her job and only keep teaching piano. Like, why would you want her to just quit her job and only teach piano?
Yeah, they just wanted to control her in a way, right?
I don't know, but I kind of feel a little bit bad because it does seem like she was 24 and she didn't have a life of her own. She couldn't make any decisions on her own. Like, yeah, she lied. She lied a shit ton, but they made her quit her job. They put her under house arrest. They monitored how much miles she put on her car.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that's a new degree of holy shit to me. But again, not excuse to kill your parents, you know? So I think the parents could have let up a little bit, but I also think Jennifer is cuckoo and should have just found another way and was like, hey, I'm 24, I'm out.
Yeah.
And just get out.
Do you
know?
Yeah. Do you think that she has ever truly faced what she did emotionally, or do you think she's still living inside the version she created herself to be?
Who knows? Maybe she's still thinking about her.
Do you think people like her can be rehabilitated?
Well, if you were gonna let me finish,
Sorry.
I was gonna say she's appealing the court not to change her outcome. She's appealing the court, and it says here because her first trial they only said it was two options, right? Or one option. It was only to kill both her parents, but I guess she's appealing it to say that it was only to kill her father. And that's why.
So the mother was supposed to be alive?
Yeah. So it's okay, the Court of Appeals had said that the trial judge mistakenly suggested to the jurors only two possible scenarios for the attack per the outlet. They argued that the jury should have been instructed to consider another scenario, one in which there was only a plan to murder the father.
Yeah.
So that's why she got her new trial. Because
yeah.
I guess.
Okay, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Stop trying to interrupt me.
Yeah. Well, I'm not done, but yeah.
Well, you asked me a question.
Yeah, I did. My bad. Continue on.
No, I'm done now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate your input. You're a very valued person in this podcast.
Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, again, like you said, today Jennifer sits in prison with the decades left before she's not even allowed to do parole until 25 years, right?
25, but she's been in there for 14 already, so she's getting pretty close.
Yeah, and her father lives with permanent injuries, emotional wounds. You did say she had a brother, so her brother lost both parents in different ways. The Pounds family sacrifice. Everything they worked for was destroyed by the child they invested into the most. Did they do this to the son too, or is it just mainly her?
It doesn't say anything, but probably not, right? I don't know why, but maybe some cultures are more strict on women than men. I don't know.
Yeah, like you said, though, pressure alone doesn't create this. The strict parenting alone doesn't create this. Cultural expectations alone doesn't create this. But when you combine all that stuff and with lies and the fear of being outed by your family and trying to be a perfect person, you might end up like Jennifer. You know, a story where a perfect daughter becomes the family's nightmare in a way. That was good. I just came off the top with that. What's up?
I'm just saying, I mean, if this is your life you're living and you're 24 years old, like, just
move out.
Move out.
They can't hold you there.
They cannot physically hold you there. If they cut you off and you have no money, okay, I understand it's going to be hard. But she had jobs. It says here, like, they made her quit all her jobs, right? Save money. Move out. Start your life by yourself.
Daniel could have got a house together.
Get your drug dealing boyfriend to give you a few $100s. I don't know. Find another way.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's all I got for this episode. You guys want to add anything else? No?
No.
Keep grinding those levels and finishing those side quests. Until next time.
As always, this has been Co-op Chronicles with Pint-Sized Geisha, Blacklabel, and me, Azzilee.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. That's crazy. There is a whole documentary.
Gather round the mic, tales of knights and dice, gaming worlds collide, hobbies come alive. Azzilee and Geisha chat, Blacklabel's where it's at. Stories told, secrets to unfold. Co-op Chronicles, come and join the ride in a world with fun.